Could you hear me okay? Oh, happy holidays, everyone. As this great year is winding down, we have a very special episode for you on the one and only P Kings Network.
The fans requested that we make a vid about where the P Kings have been these past few years and where they're heading to in the future. I mean, the P Kings have 0 rings so far, but things are looking really good for the P Kings. What do you think, G?
So let's just start off with, before we start, we should introduce ourselves. We have a very special guest on our cast named Sock Meat. You got G Money Gush Gush here and a young Knob Drizzy. So here we go, the 215 recap. Should we start with 215? I think we should start years before. So the P Kings has been established in 2010. I'm sure you all know, maybe not. But they've been established in 2010 and they started at the bottom. And they're still at the bottom. But that should change. That should change very soon. 2015 was a come up year for the P Kings. I mean, recent years, they weren't looking so hot, but 2015 was a year, and their fan base, that is growing. So 2015, you happened to go to a few tournaments. What did you see 2015?
Okay, so I did happen to go to a few tournaments. I mean, the P Kings were looking really good out there. Honestly, they were looking to win it all, but I mean, there was just a few mistakes here and there. Just like they just gotta fix those. What do you think about that?
I mean, the mistakes, of course, but you gotta think about the P Kings roster. Especially last tournament, they were supposed to have the best P Kings roster of all times, but work, injuries, excuses, shoulder shots, all these things just come up, and then we just don't get that team. We get that roster, we're up there. I mean, we're competing with the Surrey Delta A team. Well, maybe we're not competing with them, but we can at least make it to the finals and see what we do. But, first round exits due to all these injuries. But we just need a healthy P Kings roster, and it's looking good with the come up. So let's talk about some of the current players we've seen in 2015. Start with GP, probably one of the best volleyball players I've ever seen.
Phenomenal.
GP, what do you have to say about GP?
GP, the man makes the game look very easy. That's all I have to say. I mean, he flies. He can fly.
Yeah, he flies. The game comes to him. He did play professionally when he was younger in the beautiful country of India, and that game translated to here. He suffered an injury, I believe, took a few years off, but to me it looks like he hasn't missed a day.
I believe all those early years of playing helped him quite a bit, helped him gain a lot of experience in the sport, and although he does not practice too much now.
Doesn't practice at all.
He does not practice at all, yes, good correction. He still looks very, very nice.
He does, but
gains.
But the issue with GP is he hasn't been there the past 2 tournaments, and the P Kings could have really used him.
Reliability.
He wouldn't be the only. He's not the only. He's not just the only.
The only player that's having trouble. Trouble showing up. I agree.
Basically, he's not the only guy having trouble, but not only is he the best player in the P Kings, he'd be the best player in the gym in those tournaments, and without him, it's really hurting the P Kings' chances. But 2016, he should be there. How about Opie? What do you have to say about Opie?
What do you have to say, Sock, mate?
I'm just thinking, why does he get a shot the day before a tournament?
Oh, that is a great point. Opie got a shot before a tournament, and he couldn't make it to the last one, and that really hurt her chances because the guy that subbed in for him wasn't the best. He sucked balls. Yeah, and that really hurt her chances. And Opie also suffered a foot injury, and he's currently injured right now as we're ending 2015. And we really hope he could recover fast because in 2016, if the P Kings want to contend, they need Opie. Anything else about Opie, boys?
No, I mean, definitely brings a lot of fire to the team. Is an excellent spiker.
He does it all. He sets also.
Sets very well. I mean, just an all-around player. You gotta love Opie.
Yeah, if we play a 6-2, Opie's usually the second setter, but the first setter is Gary. This is Gary's son, Sock Meat. I mean, Gary's his father. This guy, Sock Meat, he might be the future of the team, but we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about Coach Gary right now. How you think he has many years left, or?
Coach Gary, the thing about Coach Gary is the guy has many years left. His game is grounded close to the ground. He doesn't jump too high now anymore because he's getting a little older, right?
He plays smart.
But he plays smart.
Conservative
volleyball, fundamental volleyball, and that's what helps his game most.
Yeah, Coach Gary, he will be really needed. He's a leader. If he stays healthy, well, he's He has a few broken fingers here and there, but he can play through them. I don't know how,
Definitely.
but I mean, you need fingers to set. And Coach Gary, if his fingers, stay healthy or get better, P. Kings 2016 will definitely make some noise. I mean, every now and then he might get selfish with a second ball tip that goes into the net. I mean, we all hate it. As players, we all hate it, but we got to live with it. And if Coach Gary plays unselfishly in the future tournaments, P. Kings are the team to watch. How about Tochi by the Big T, Tochi?
Tochi.
I mean, first of all, Tochi used to play A team back in the day, but he kind of got moved down to B team. But not just B team. He's had a shoulder injury. He hasn't been practicing at all lately. Shoulder injury. I think the Big T might
Speedy
be
recovery.
done for A team. Hopefully, he can recover for B team.
Speedy recovery.
Yeah, we focus on the A team, so sorry, the Big Team. We don't have much time for you on this video. Next up, G Money. That's me. I don't really want to talk about myself, so you can start off. What'd you see of G Money in the last tournament?
G Money, he's just a great player. I mean, he can do it all. He can set the ball, he can spike the ball, he can serve the ball, he can play defense, he can do it all. He's a reliable player. He always does stuff for the team. Like
Team
puts the team
first.
first.
Team
That's
first.
what I wanted to say.
Thank
Team
you,
first.
Dr.
That's
Izzy.
definitely. What do you have to say about him, Sock?
Sock me.
You've also observed his game.
Sockme's been watching me for years.
He started from the bottom. He was way
I
down
literally
here.
started
He was
from
way
the bottom
down here.
on the sand volleyball courts.
Oh, I remember those. I remember I was there for the first time.
And
Don't forget about
now
that.
he's up here, and now he's just jumping really high.
Yeah, you
He's
can see
spiking
from my
straight
mixtape.
down.
That's also on YouTube. If you don't believe me, just watch the mixtape for reference. But I feel like I'm on the come up, and I'll definitely make some noise in 2016 on the P Kings. P Kings first, school and family second. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But, yeah. Okay, up next, Harry Paw.
trickster.
Harry, what do you have to say about Harry?
Harry Paw. I mean, I don't have much to say about Harry Paw. I haven't seen much of his game. I've gone to a couple tournaments. I mean, I've seen that he's a pretty good. He's an all-around player, but nothing super impressive about the guy. I mean,
Well, I mean, Harry, the thing with Harry is he used to be a star a few years ago, and then
Yeah.
now his game is just like roller coastering, and you don't know
Up
what
and
you're
down,
going to get
up
out
and
of
down,
Harry.
up and down.
He could be having the worst game in the tournament. Next game, he could be the best player on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So if Harry stays healthy and consistent, well, he's going to stay healthy. He is a ladies' man. But yeah, if he stays consistent, Harry is definitely up there. I mean, he has the height, and he likes to ask sock meet, do you have a girlfriend? But that's a different story. And how about Sonu? He's not really on the P Kings, but he played there in the last two tournaments. He lives in Kent. He's a firepower player. What do you guys have to say about Sonu from the last tournament?
definitely a firepower player. Definitely like Gush, puts the team first. Spikes the ball very well. There's some holes in his game that he could fix.
Sonu sometimes could get lazy during the
lazy,
plays
yeah.
if he's not getting what he wants. I
think
think
the
just
effort-
gives up the point.
Might
But
sometimes fall asleep.
But you could blame it on the team. I mean, sometimes the team makes him angry, but still, he should be a team first guy. And
Yeah.
if Sonu stays on the P Kings, if you add Sonu, GP, and a rising star like G Money, and add in guys like Harry and Opie and Coach Gary, they're at least in the semis, and they could make it to the finals and hope for an upset on the Surrey Delta A team.
Yep.
So we don't know where Sonu's going to play, and after the break, we'll talk about some future potential players. The P Kings Network is brought to you by Dark Side Judah. If you want a great looking Judah like this one, please visit
darksidejudah.org.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, and as promised, we're going to talk about the future of the P Kings. We talked about the current players that are already on the roster, but there are a few people that are fighting to make it on the A team. And I said A team, that must be there is a B team. There was B teams in the last tournament, and so let's talk about players that are on the potential B team that will hopefully someday make it to the A team in the big leagues. So let's start off with a young sock meat.
It's like a meat, actually.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't-
So,
no one cares.
As we mentioned, sock meat is Coach Gary's son, so he probably has the best chance to make it on the P Kings in the future. What do you have to say about sock meat's game?
Sock meat, first of all, would bring a lot to the team. He's a tall player, tall, lanky. That's what you need in volleyball. The Judah
Judah
adds
makes him taller.
the Judah adds a little bit of height as well. I mean,
It does.
I feel like that's what you need as a volleyball player. You need to be tall, you need to be lanky, you need to be long, and sock meet definitely is both of those things. What do you think?
I actually got a chance to watch sock meet play last week at a local open gym, and I was impressed. I mean, compared to the other times, this guy was getting up there for spikes. He didn't look like sock meat. I was very surprised. I mean, he's kind of a basketball type of guy now, and hopefully that doesn't interfere with his volleyball game, right? Yeah, but
Yeah.
so I haven't seen him play in a while, but I saw him play the other day, and I was impressed. I didn't think sock meat would be making noise at this young age, but the mustache makes him look older, and his game is translating and making him look older. I think pretty soon he might, I don't know if he's A-team ready yet, but he might play the
So
B.
slowly go from B team to A team, get that transition phase.
Well, what you need to know about sock meat is he was supposed to play the B team last tournament, but he kind of pussed out.
I
That's an
know.
off
Yeah,
drizzy.
He
yeah.
had a toe injury.
He had a toe injury. Nav Drizzy
fucking
here.
sucks. He has
He knows
experience
toe
with
injuries, and they could be
yeah.
very severe.
Very severe.
So next on the list, I'd say the second best chance of making playing the second best player on the B team, and then maybe the second highest chance of eventually playing on the A team would be Money. So Money, he kind of goes by rag beer sometimes on the court, but what do you have to say about Money?
Money or
Rag beer.
Definitely, I'd like to say the same thing. Kind of it translates over, whatever I said to Sam, kind of translates over to him. There's definitely a size difference, but he's definitely got the height. He's got the power for sure. We've seen it. He's displayed it every single Friday we've been there. Power on the spikes. What do you have to say? What else?
Well, power definitely. I've noticed he actually has one of the fastest swings out there.
Oh, yeah.
But the issue with that is, no, he does. You may think it's funny, but
I'm not laughing at all.
He does. But the thing is accuracy. When you swing with that much power, you're not going to get much accuracy, and he needs to work on accuracy. That is key in
Accuracy
volleyball,
is key.
especially when there's blockers up there. You need accuracy when you spike. What do you want to say, Sockmeat? I got more to say.
Records show that he has a 0.76 millisecond time of swinging his arm when he spikes the volleyball.
Okay, I'm glad you calculated that, or found it on the record book, but as I was saying, he swings very fast, and with power, so if he gets the ball over the net, past the blockers, it's almost a point. But you need to add in the accuracy. I think you should slow it down a little bit and get more accuracy on that swing.
How about those sets?
Oh,
How about
the
his
set
setting game?
No, at first, when we were just not we, but when the B team roster was being decided, there was issues on his setting. They were saying, "What if Money can't set, Ragbeer can't set?" Because you need to be able to set to play on the court. Everyone needs to be able to set. What if? What if this? What if that? But we've seen, at least I've noticed, his setting has improved.
Definitely. No, I've seen it too.
Yeah, we've all seen it. Coach Gary's pointed it out. But there's still work to be done. I mean, he could set, it got better, but the main word that I would have to say, consistency. Consistency is probably what I see is lacking in Ragbeer's game. I mean, at warm-ups, his sets look like he's a setter. At times, he looks like a setter. But then in the game, could he consistently set for the whole game? And same with the hitting. I mean, he gets some good hits, but consistency. You need to be consistent on the court, or there might be some issues with the players.
That's true.
I mean,
Once he develops that consistency, he's a surefire.
Yeah, definitely.
Punjabi
But the main thing is the consistency. The serving, he's a pretty good server, but sometimes, I don't know if his arm gives out or what happens. Maybe from all that swinging, his serve sometimes, don't make it over. Sometimes they hit the bleachers. But he just needs that consistency, and then he's there. He'll be a B-team star with that consistency. And, yeah. Anything else?
I think we covered it all.
So let's move on to Nav Drizzy here. I mean, he plays a few times a year. I mean, out of Sockmeat and Ragbeer, he has the slightest chance to play on the A team. I mean, I don't even know if he'll make it to the B team tournaments. So, Sockmeat, what do you have to say about Nav Drizzy here?
This guy, he could be big if he plays a lot of volleyball. He could be a big player.
He could be big if he lifts.
He just doesn't really, he doesn't play a lot. And he does okay when he plays, but he can do better.
He doesn't play a lot, but what you gotta love about him is he plays with multiple dimensions. He doesn't just use his hands, he uses his head. When they shut down his hands, the blockers, he'll just get it over with his head. And that is a trick play. So how do you do that?
Well, sometimes I'm just thinking, I'm like, should I use my hands or should I set the ball? Should I bump it? But then I'm like, what the heck? I'm just going to use my head. So I just kind of like bow my head down a little and I just clear it over. I mean, most of the time.
Now that's a cool story. So I would have to say if Nob Drizzy practiced as much as Sock Meat and Ragbeer, I could say he could have been better than these two, but that's never going to happen, so we don't have to talk about that. So, Nob Drizzy, he has pretty good hands. He could set, he could hit, not with a lot of power. I think he needs to work out more. Like me and Sockmeat here, we hit with way more power.
I think I need to work on my timing.
I mean, I don't know if you call it accuracy or if it's just he hits so weak it just goes to the right spot. But yeah, I've spiked it at him a few times in the past few days, but that's a different story. We're talking about future players. So Nob Drizzy, yeah, he could have a promising career. And let's end with, I'd say, the guy who has the least chance of playing on the A team, a slight chance of getting minutes on the B team. You might call him a C team player, Mr. Judge, as Coach Gary calls him, Mr. Judge. I wonder if he'll get reps on the B team. If he does, what do you have to say about Mr. Judge? Except that he plays for fun.
Judge, Judge likes to set it like a basketball. Like we've told him many times to try to like set it like a volleyball player, but he likes to go like and like set it like a basketball player. Like
Judge is more of a basketball player.
What you got to realize is me and Judge, we're basketball players. And that's gonna always be our passion.
I mean, that's just an excuse. I mean, me and Sockmeat here
it is an excuse, but that's why we don't go as much either.
Yeah, because they have practice 0 times a year, so that's why they don't go.
This guy right here has practice every
3
day
days
in the
a
week.
week. 3 days.
No, every day in the week.
Okay, let's not talk about that. But Mr. Judge, he has a tendency to not go for a ball and say, "That was yours," and then there's an awkward silence like there just was. That's what Mr. Judge does, and I would say 95% of the people don't enjoy playing on his team.
I enjoy playing on his team.
I mean, I enjoy playing on his team because once in a while I get that lucky set, and then good things happen. But Mr. Judge, I think he likes pain because he always tells me to spike it on people's chests, and then he gets happy. But that's not what we're here to talk about. So, yeah, Mr. Judge, he has a lot to improve on, a good 1 million things, I would say. But once he gets those down, he could play B team, maybe A team.
He does have a smile, you know.
He has that smile.
Passion.
That just shows the passion. So, 2015's almost over, pretty much is over. So, 2016, as I like to say, is going to be the statement year, I would say, where the P Kings
hopefully win their first championship.
Yeah, hopefully win their first championship. I think they'll get to the finals at least.
Definitely.
So the year 2015 was a come-up year, so they're definitely on the map. Coach Gary has some say in tournaments now, and yeah, we're definitely on the map. I've got a lot of new fans in the tournaments, and we just add in GP, and Sonu keeps playing. I keep developing my game. Opie stops getting shots. Harry stops talking about girlfriends. Gary stops being selfish. The P Kings are there. They are there. So let's say cheers to a good 2016 for the P Kings, and you guys have a nice night. Cheers, boys.